Satan removed one word from how you understand Psalm 23, and that word is why you've been stuck in the valley for years. The word is still in your Bible, but not in your mind. Because once you see what it actually means, you'll realize you've been doing valleys completely wrong. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You know every word, you've memorized it, you've quoted it in your darkest moments. But one of those words? It's been mistranslated for 400 years. And that mistranslation is keeping you trapped. The word is walk. In Hebrew, it's yalak. And yalak doesn't mean walk. But before I tell you what yalak actually means, there's something else wrong with this verse that changes everything. The word though, it's not even in the Hebrew. David never said, though I walk through the valley. The Hebrew is gam-kai. And those two words flip the entire meaning upside down. But to understand how, you first need to know what yalak really means. Yalak doesn't mean walk carefully or walk peacefully. Yalak is a military term. It means to march aggressively, to invade, to advance with violence toward an objective. It's what armies do when they attack. David wasn't walking through valleys, he was invading them. But here's where it gets even more shocking. When you add back gam-ki. Gam-ki doesn't mean even though, it means especially when, not I endure valleys when they come. I am most aggressive when valleys come. Now watch what happens when you put both words together. Especially when I invade the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. But why would David say especially? That's the part that will change everything. Because David discovered something about valleys that most Christians never learn. Valleys aren't obstacles to survive, they're territory to conquer. Think about every time David faced a valley moment. The bear trying to kill his sheep. David didn't run. He yalaked toward it. The lion attacking his flock, David invaded that threat. Goliath standing in the valley of Elah, everyone else walked carefully. David charged. This is why your valley won't end. You've been walking when David said yalak. You've been enduring when he said invade. You've been asking God to deliver you from your valley, when God's waiting for you to march through it violently. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You thought those were for leaning on. They're not. The rod is a weapon for striking enemies. The staff is for aggressive forward movement. God doesn't equip those who camp in valleys. He arms those who invade them. Jesus proved perfect yalak, facing the ultimate valley, death itself. Did he walk carefully into it? No. No one takes my life, I lay it down. He invaded death so violently, he shattered it. That's yalak. Here's what Satan removed from your mind. You have a choice in valleys. Walk, and they imprison you. Yalak, and they flee from you. David said, especially when I invade valleys, because he knew something. God's presence doesn't follow those who retreat. It accompanies those who advance. Declare this right now. I don't walk through valleys. I yalak, especially in my darkest moments. I invade what tried to imprison me. My valley ends today because I march forward. I yalak. Stand up when you say it. Yalak doesn't happen sitting down. Type I yalak through in the comments, because valleys only trap those who walk. They break under those who invade. Jesus spoke one word, and a dead girl sat up. One word, and a storm stopped. One word, and a deaf man heard. Not a prayer, not a request, a single Aramaic command that shattered every barrier. In 200 AD, an Aramaic translator named Tatian wrote, when Jesus spoke this word, he was not asking. He was issuing a military command that nothing, natural or supernatural, could resist, and he gave his disciples authority to use the same word. The word is aphatha, and most Bibles translate it so softly you miss the force of what Jesus actually said. If you've ever felt blocked, stuck, under attack with no breakthrough, this word will shatter every barrier. Mark 7:34. Jesus heals a deaf man. He looked up to heaven and said, aphatha, which means be opened. At this, the man's ears were opened. Most people think Jesus asked nicely. That's not what happened. In Aramaic, aphatha was the word used to break seals on documents, unlock doors and gates, open what was closed by force. When a Roman official said aphatha to a sealed letter, break the seal now. When a commander said ephatha to a locked gate, open immediately, no negotiation, instant compliance. Jesus used this word because he wasn't making a suggestion. He was issuing a military order to the spiritual forces that had sealed this man's ears. Whatever has closed this, open now. And it did. Mark 5:41, raising the dead. He said, Talitha cum. Immediately the girl stood up. Mark 4:39, stopping the storm. He said to the waves, be still. The wind died down. John 11:43, raising Lazarus. Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out. Commands instant obedience. And then Jesus said in John 14:12, Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things. The same authority he used, you have. When doors are closed, breakthrough is blocked, the enemy has sealed something shut, you don't beg. You command, Ehatha, be opened. Luke 10:19. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Authority to command. Ephesians 1:19-20. That power is the same as the mighty strength he exerted when he raised Christ from the dead. The same power that raised Jesus is in you. The same authority he used to say Ephphatha and break through death, you have. Matthew 16:19. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. You have the keys. When something is locked, you don't beg. You command, Ephphatha. The enemy wants you to believe you have no authority. But Jesus said, I have given you authority. Past tense. Done. So when you face a closed heaven, a blocked door, a sealed situation, command it, Ephphatha. Be opened, now, and watch what breaks. If this gave you your voice back, type Ephphatha be opened in the comments. Not for the algorithm, for your freedom. You're not begging, you're commanding. Subscribe and join us.